have some more examples of distributive property and combining like terms. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to write an equivalent expression with no parentheses and the fewest number of terms possible. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of go down the list here. I'm going to start with column A, number 1. We'll do column B, letter A. We'll start here with this. I have negative x times negative 8. Sorry, not negative x. Negative 8 times 2x plus negative 3. We're going to rewrite that subtraction. So we eliminate the issue with missing out on negatives. Okay. And then we're going to distribute. What I mean distribute is I'm taking the number outside times all numbers inside. And think of it as if we're setting up that table. Okay. I got negative 8 here. I've got 2x here and negative 3 here. What would I get if I multiply these? Well, negative 8 times 2x is negative 16x. Negative 8 times negative 3 is a positive 24. So when I distribute, think of it using the box, my new expression would be negative 16x plus 24. Well, then I have to do the same thing with the second one. Take 4 times 5. Well, what is 4 times 5? 4 times 5 is 20. Plus 4 times negative 3x. Well, 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. That's 3x, so that's negative 12x. After we distribute, so first, distribute. Second, we're going to combine like terms. Combine the x's. Negative 16, negative 12 makes negative 28x. Add your numbers, pile of numbers. 24 plus 20 is 44. So negative 28x plus 44. When you're doing the distributing, just remember, think of it as a little table box. Put what you're multiplying by on the outside, put what's the expression on the inside of the parentheses up top, and do your multiplying. If you need to do this to help you out, go right ahead. Okay. Column B, letter A. Okay. I have negative 7x plus a negative 12 plus a negative x plus 20x. Okay. Well, what are we multiplying by here on this outside? Well, it says a negative. Well, kind of think of it here like the negative x. Well, what coefficient is here on negative x? Okay. Negative x is negative 1x. So, we could multiply everything in here, and you could think of it as times negative 1. Okay. We're not combining these, especially because they're not like terms. Okay. So we keep the negative 7x. Doesn't change. But we do multiply 12 times negative 1, which is negative 12. And we multiply negative 1 times negative x. And negative times a negative makes a positive. 1 times x is 1x. Okay. So we just have x, and then plus 20x. Well, my like terms, so all the x's, do my positive ones first. X plus 20x is 21. 21 plus negative 7 is a positive 14x. And then we just have the old negative 12. That is the only term like itself. So the answer, the simplest expression here would be 14x plus negative 12. Okay. Let's look at right here, number 3 next. Okay. Number 3, we have 2/3 times negative 12x plus negative 9 plus 6 times x plus 1. Okay. Well, in previous lessons with this, I talked about how to multiply with the fractions and whole numbers. Remember, take the whole number times the numerator. So 12 times 2, 24, divided by the denominator. 24 divided by 3 is 8. Well, 8x, but I have a positive times a negative. So one of each, remember, different signs give me a negative product. So negative 8x plus, okay, so we've already multiplied times the 12x. Now we're going to multiply this times the negative 9. Well, negative times a positive, again, has a negative product. 9 times 2 is 18. Divided by 3 is 6, so negative 6. Plus, now I do some distributing over here on the second expression. 6 times x, 6x. 6 times 1 is positive 6. Okay, so my like terms, negative 8x and a positive 6x. When I add those together, I'm actually going to subtract because they have different signs. So 8 minus 6 is 2x. And since 8 is bigger, remember, that gives us a negative sum. Now I have plus negative 6 and 6. Bonus points if you can tell me what these are. They're opposites. We also call them additive inverses. And when we add additive inverses together, always get a 0. This would be one instance where technically they're not like terms, but if you add 0 to anything, you just get what you started with. So we have a solution of negative 2x as we simplify this expression, okay, with no parentheses and the fewest number of terms. In fact, we just have one term here. Okay. Number 5. Number 5. Okay. I have 0.5 times 8x plus negative 2 plus negative 0, oh, sorry, writing stuff down wrong, 0.75 times 4x plus negative 8. Okay, so again, if we're distributing, here's the outside of the box, here's the top of the box. So 0.5 times 8x. Well, what is 0. Think of this 5 times 8. Well, 5 times 8 is 40. Between these two numbers, I have one decimal place. So 40 with one decimal place really just becomes 4.0, which is just 4x. You can also think of 0.5 as half. What's half of 8? Well, 4x. Then we're going to multiply 0.5 times negative 2. Okay, so 0.5 times negative 2, well, 5 times 2 is 10. With one decimal place, that makes it 1.0, or just 1. And since we have a positive and a negative, that gives us a negative product. And we're back doing this again. So I have 0.75 times 4x. We can think of it as 75 times 4. Well, 75 times 4 is 300. But with 2 decimal places, that turns that into a 3. And a negative times a positive makes a negative 3x plus, look, we have a negative times a negative. That makes a positive. And again, forget the decimal. 75 times 8 is going to be 600. But with 2 decimal places, that turns that into a 6. And with our like terms, I have 4x plus negative 3x, which is 1x, which is just x, plus negative 1 times 6. Subtract the 2, 6 minus 1 gives me 5. And since 6 is bigger, we have a positive answer.